And now we're moving on to section 2 of the Vamplifier, where we're going to be discussing pretty much nerd stuff, really, including any sort of stuff that we find out about that is interesting. So this includes articles, gaming news, basically nerd stuff news or whatever. Anyway, take it away.
So wait, we're doing nerd stuff?
Well,
when did this happen, sir?
No! Anyway, moving on to some stuff that we have found out recently since we watched Voltron Legendary Defender. The thing I want to mention is that there's something that's been happening recently, and you've read one of these.
Yes.
Why don't we start with the first article then?
Yes, the Netflix one?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Netflix dropped more classic movies as they focus on original content. A lot of classic movies have been disappearing in Netflix library. Reason is that they want to produce more original content. Now, for those who may not know, making original content may be expensive, but to compare to, like, you know, getting the movies or TV shows that do have contract, and you have to make a deal with them to keep them in keep those properties, whatever. It's much better deal for Netflix, you know, to do all these original content, since from what I read, they actually, you know, make a little more money. You know, sometimes you gotta spend to make more.
Yes.
And you know what? And not only that, you know, for the original content they do have is Luke Cage, House of Cards, Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Beast of No Nation, and Voltron.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Oh yes, I definitely could say that it's really interesting. It can be good or bad because they can't exactly have certain shows or movies on there for, like, they can't have them there all the time, like instant queue wise. But they can have some stuff, like DVD wise, which is good. Oh wait, what's over here? Yeah, so that could be good or bad depending on what happens, but to be honest, really focusing more on original content is good, but I think that can also be bad as well. I'm not saying that I'm against this. Oh, I'm with it. I'm with it, but I'm also a little bit against it, only because I want some of the shows that are stuff that we already enjoy a lot to, how do you put it? I want the shows that we already enjoy, or any sort of new or old shows, to actually still be coming to Netflix, because people don't just come for Netflix's original stuff. What if they don't like some of their original stuff? They want to have something else as incentive.
Well, I think they are gonna, like, you know, still have that, you know. I think they're still going to, like, at least have, like, some deals, but I don't think they have to, like, keep a lot to it. And I'm not saying, you know, I'm not saying you're wrong, you know, like, yeah, you know, people may not like what they have. And that, you know, that is absolutely true. But at the same time, though, like, I don't mind from that, because, you know, all honestly, of the shows I watch, I mean, I don't really watch movies on there per se. Like, sometimes I do, and sometimes I just don't. You know, it's just because of the fact, it doesn't have what I, you know, do have, like, oh, you know, I put this on my Insta queue or whatever and, you know, watch it. But at the same time, though, I'm probably not going to, not because, you know, that I will. I mean, not because I don't like it or anything, I can't even say. Not because I don't like it anything, it's just because of the fact, like, you know, I'm watching, you know, like, shows, like, on there, too. You know, such as, you know, Daredevil, you know. Like, when I heard that, you know, Daredevil Season 2 is, like, you know, is on there, that's the first thing I watch. I couldn't really care less, you know, whether they have, you know, any other shows. And, again, you know, it is a bad thing, but at the same time, though, like, Netflix is a growing service. So right now, they have the stuff, you know, everything with the library. But, you know, one day, they're going to have, like, so much of it, it's like, you know, why, you know, even bother with whatever, I guess you could say.
Oh, yes. That also leads us to another article, which, of course, all of you are free to post your thoughts on this. It's perfectly fine. It leads us to another article, which, of course, has to do with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So, yeah, take it away.
The Marvel Cinematic Universe has a TV problem. Does it really? Does it? Pretty much. The MCU are connecting the films and also a TV show, but apparently it doesn't feel that way. I mean, I don't know, maybe just that's not particularly me.
Too many changes.
Well, no, like okay. Like, you could say, like, both, like, Agent Carter and Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., they do tie in the movies directly, and the Netflix shows, like, they only have some kind of brief mentions, like, like, oh, like, Iron Man, was battling, whatever, up in space, or Captain America was doing such and such, and they always, like, ties back to, like, the events that happened in New York since, like, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and Daredevil all set in New York, and that big event happened in the event, like the first Avenger movie. So, I guess in some ways, it doesn't really feel like they all connected. I mean, that was the article says, but at the same time, I'm like, well, I mean, I guess that's how they feel, or like that's how like the fans kind of feel. As someone who kind of watches this, like, well, I mean, I do feel like they're all connected. I mean, I guess what they try. This is my kind of understanding of it. Like, you, in some ways, like, let's say with Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., like, where they want, like, Iron Man to be on it, but at the same time, though, Robert Downey Jr. is not going to go on Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm sorry, people. He's not, because he's too damn expensive.
Hell yeah. He's a hot property.
Yes. And I guess another thing, too, like, where, like, some of the events, like, within, like, those movies, is another thing I did read that they said that, all those events that happen in movies doesn't really, happen in TV shows. Like, well, I mean, not, any of the Netflix shows, mind you, but, like, something like Asian and shows, like, that was, like, a whole big thing that happened. Like, you cannot say, I mean, I don't want to spoil anything, but something happened within Captain America Winter Soldier, that had a big, like, effect within, like, Asian and S.H.I.E.L.D., so don't tell me that shit did not happen, huh?
I know, right? Especially since it references, well, the comics. That's where it all came from originally, and then there were some changes and adding newer stuff to spice things up and whatnot to attract wider viewers, a wider audience, meaning more viewers equaling a lot more money.
This is how I kind of feel like overall with it, and there's a hospital over there. I mean, this is how I feel overall with it exactly. It's like, look, when you read like a Daredevil comic, that's what you're reading. You're reading a Daredevil comic, and the mood and the tone of it is its own mood and tone of it. It might not like translate well when, like, let's say, like, some kind of big event like happened in Marvel. That's going because they would have like these kind of big summer blockbuster events happen within a whole Marvel universe that may change something, but at the same time doesn't mean jack. That's going to happen, but at the same time, though, it's going to be like in and out, and then your regular scheduled programming of Daredevil is going to continue on, like as if nothing really happened. It's still going to have its own tone and what have you. That's why you got to think of these kind of shows where like, yeah, something did happen within like Captain America Civil War, and it might affect, it might not. But at the same time, though, it doesn't really matter like too much. It's still connected, and whatever they do with it, like, kind of later on, they will do something with it, like, kind of later on. We probably will, we probably will see them, on the bigger screen, just, not at the moment.
Well, I can just say that they will eventually try to make some things good, or not. If not, we can always settle for guilty pleasure. Depends on what is going to happen. Right?
I guess. I mean, you have, does Arrow count as a guilty pleasure? I don't know.
You don't like it as much?
No, I'm sorry.
Dare you!
Fuck Arrow.
It's not that good. It's too dramatic, I'm guessing.
Okay, listen.
Tell me, man.
See, and I went off on this on my channel, and I'll do my best to kind of summarize it. I just don't care for Arrow. I'm sorry. I don't see what people see in Arrow. Like maybe it's a whole thing where like because like our friend of mine, like I know from one of my classes, like she didn't get why people like what's the show called Supernatural. Yeah. I enjoy Supernatural, but at the same time though, I know there are problems within that show, but I know for a fact it's fun, and it's enjoyable. I really enjoy it. It's a pretty cool show. Arrow's not. It's none of those things. Like the first season, that shit just dragged on. I'm sorry, people, but
bad plot points.
It's trying to be too like melodramatic. It tried to be too much of a soap opera. It tried to take stuff way too seriously, and it's like, first off, I don't think he able to take this shit seriously because you have a guy wearing a fucking hood who goes around shooting arrows.
And kicking ass.
And fighting like supervillains, and one of them is called Vertical.
Hey, don't forget about the Royal Flush. They were actually implemented pretty well into that. But let's not worry about Arrow too much because it's something I need to watch more of to actually have more of a full opinion, but yes, I can see the melodrama. That part is stupid. But moving on to something a lot more interesting is Shin Godzilla. I didn't exactly get the chance to see it because I've been busy and such, and a lack of funds.
Sir?
Huh?
How dare you? How dare you to want to go watch Shin Godzilla, sir?
Hey,
you call yourself a shoe nerd. How dare you?
What?
With your hat and your vampireness.
Hey, what? No! It's not true!
It's impossible!
You
know that to be true.
Okay, but you actually got the chance to see it, so...
Oh, yes, on my birthday.
Oh, that is so awesome, dude. So, yeah, without spoilers, go ahead and give us,
my little review, my little thoughts on it.
Yeah.
Like, I won't spoil too much of it because I can only give you my initial thoughts on it. And it took me a while. I settled in. I'm like, okay, I feel like I need to watch this movie. But basically, what basically about, to summarize, it's basically like a what-if scenario, like, if Godzilla really was real, and what if he actually did attack Japan? This would be the very first time in a modern world to attack Japan. How would the government approach it? And I remember, like, you and me, Jack, like, we talked about, I did give you my thoughts on it, and I tell you about it, and when you say, like, you want to watch, Godzilla movies, I guess, I can remember it was, to kind of prepare yourself for Godzilla, for watching Shin Godzilla. I'm like, no, don't do that. And you say, no, give it a chance. I think you kind of misread what I meant. I don't mean, like, not to watch those Godzilla movies. Like, yeah, you can watch them, they're absolutely fine. I love those Godzilla. I'm a big Godzilla fan. Here's the problem with all that. Let me tell you, as someone who's a Godzilla fan coming into this, which I thought, like, okay, I'm gonna finally go watch, like, Godzilla, old Japanese, like, on the big screen, God, like, it's been, I think the last time it was the 2015, 2014 Godzilla movie, so that was like 2 years ago. Yeah.
Awesome.
So yeah, so like, okay, gonna watch this one, all Japanese like, and oh god, I would say for the majority of this movie, there's a lot of politics. When I say this is like, a kind of real life scenario, it's almost like they went to like a ridiculous degree of like just showing you the entire government process of like how we're gonna attack Godzilla. What is this creature? Should we not kill it? Should we just put it back in the ocean? I'm being fucking serious with this. Like, it's in a literal like process of the fact of like them. You see them, like, all the government officials like sitting down and talking about whatever's going on. Like, oh, something happened in Japan. Okay, now we gotta get up and go to another like little area that we must discuss about this. Oh, something happened again. Okay, now we gotta go to another area and discuss about what's happening over there. It goes like that for like the next 15 minutes. I'm like, okay, what? What? And like they tease you, like what's kind of going on, in Japan. Like I'm going like, okay, when will we see Godzilla? When are we going to see Godzilla? When are we going to see Godzilla? And like we finally get to that part, like we actually see Godzilla. I'm like, oh, thank God. And then we go back to the government. I'm like, no.
Trying to come up with an alternative to keep people interested.
Like it's kind of maddening to a point, because I was not prepared for this. It's like you go and watch the Avengers movies, and instead you watch like a drama about them dealing about cancer. Like
what the fuck?
I wanted to go, like I want to see people fighting each other. I was not really prepared for seeing a drama about cancer.
What the hell? This ain't Grey's Anatomy.
Like, I mean, they will fight. No doubt about it. But it's like, well, we got to talk about dealing cancer at the most. Like, what?
Oh, wow, that is pretty crazy.
And that's the one thing I can give warning to people. It's like, don't watch any of the trailers if you're gonna watch this, or like, don't watch any Godzilla movies. Not because whether or not it's good or not, but because the fact like wherever you're gonna watch, you have no idea exactly what you're going to watch, because this is entirely a different beast on its own. But don't get me wrong, you will go see Godzilla, and I would say that's one of the best parts of the movie. Like, even though I kind of making a whole like exaggerated deal of like how to deal with this, it's like, you know what? I do appreciate the fact they will go to this lengthy thing of how the government would deal with this kind of sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I was not just entirely like ready for that, and so not being entirely ready for that, I'm like, what the shit is going on?
I could definitely see where that comes into play. Me, I had a problem. Like, one Godzilla I did see was the reboot, and I can understand that they're supposed to have some characters that pad out the runtime. Now, I will say that I didn't like the fact that Godzilla wasn't on screen for most of the time, right? But
yeah.
I love the design when he got on screen, though, despite moving at a snail's pace and still kicking some major amounts of ass, which was actually pretty good. I liked Bryan Cranston's character, who was warning everyone that Godzilla was coming.
Well, he said, I mean, he didn't have, I think he had no idea that Godzilla was coming. He has,
he warning that a danger was coming, which we all know is Godzilla. But everyone else like, what? He's crazy. And his son is a douchebag. And I made a review on that, which I will say that it's better than the Matthew Broderick one from 1998, was it?
Oh, yeah.
Way better.
And, but I would say with this one, like, again, I do kind of like the whole, I mean, it took like a bit for like the political thing to get into it, because like, again, you're not really expecting that. I'm not saying, it does happen within the other Godzilla movies, but at the same time though, it's like, you go into as much detail with it, it's like, I just want to see Godzilla just destroying shit, yo.
Yeah.
But, again, it does takes a while to gotta, for someone who's, love Godzilla, to get kind of used to it.
Yeah.
Now, oh, sorry, you're going to say?
I was just about to mention something else that's related to it, but you go ahead. You continue.
Okay. I would say another thing I really do like is how, pretty much Godzilla, like, both the design and the evolution of Godzilla. Like, they did a whole kind of different approach to it. Like, again, this is probably like a what-if scenario if Godzilla was real. And they show you how like, he kind of evolved, where, like, you see him as being, like, this little baby thing which should have googly eyes. Like, you see this, like, this baby, like, monster, like, wrecking thing, and it's, like, it's kind of hard taking it serious, because, like, it has googly eyes. It looks so cute and adorable. I want a plushie of this.
I know, right?
It's so cute. And it...
Go on.
And it kind of continues on, and I do like the aspect of it. Like, you see, like, the evolution of this, and I do how they do, like, they do some of the fan service, I guess you could say, or where they brought back, like, the original, like, 1954 music, and, like, his original roar from from 1954, I'm like, oh wow, that sounds like Godzilla. But again, I'm like, I'm trying to take this seriously, but this googly eye motherfucker, I just can't.
Oh, yeah. Excuse me. Godzilla's a great franchise despite being googly-eyed. It's it's like they're trying to make him cuter. I mean, let's think about this. He is a wide property. Video games were made out of him.
Yeah, but, to be kind of fair, like, okay, again, if you go in a quote-unquote kind of science of it, he would look kind of like cute, I guess you can say. He would look like a dumb monster. Like, okay, I do like that aspect of it. And then I guess his final form, because it's like, oh, that's his fourth form. I'm like, it's not even my final form. Like, is Godzilla gonna turn Super Saiyan? Please do. I want to see that right now.
What?
Please do.
No!
No.
No!
He didn't.
That would actually be pretty cool. Like, he becomes super powered. I mean, come on. There are comics of him, toys of him, TV shows, friggin' what else that's actually been made about him? Comic books. In fact, one of the comics that I wanted to read is Godzilla Unleashed, which I read some issues, and I can guarantee that it's really good. Sometimes the action is a bit too up close, but it is very beautifully animated. It's pretty good.
Oh, word.
Oh yeah, and also, I don't know if you knew this, but I think you knew this. Godzilla has video games.
Yeah, like I used to have one of them. I don't know if I still have it or not.
Okay, there's the newer ones that the angry video game nerd played. How they were more badass and awesome in comparison to the old. Having a lot more destruction. There's a fighting game of it too. I actually want to play that and get good.
I've been wanting to like get one of the games. In
fact, they should bring it to Steam. The comics are good and all that, which also leads, since I'm mentioning games, this is a quick little news read which doesn't require much thought because the title says it all. Valve is adding official PS4 controller support to Steam. This is actually good, but mostly I've been actually seeing it in terms of gaming on PS4 is, believe it or not, just wired controllers. And wired controllers are actually harder to hook up, at least for me and usually everyone nowadays. I mean, everyone usually prefers wired controllers like myself, and 360 controllers are usually the standard, which I'm using to play Stardew Valley right now.
I don't believe you, sir.
I can actually use a keyboard and mouse for this, and the number line actually makes everything better. But you get what I mean. Oh, now another thing.
See, I think you're using a Atari control, yo.
What? I grew up in the Nintendo days, but yes, Atari. Yes. Oh, yeah.
That's what you're using at the moment. You're using Atari controls. I know.
Oh my god, he's on to me. He's on to me. Ah! No! No! Which leads me to the other piece of information. The place, and this is going to sound pretty hilarious. The PS4's VR headset is actually going to be compatible with Xbox One. And
wait,
I can only say one thing about that. One, I don't really care about it. Two, lawsuit! Lawsuit! You can see that maybe it's done with the authorized consent of the other party or whatnot, but still.
Sony and Microsoft, yeah.
Yeah, Sony and Microsoft. It's like they hate each other though. Competitive. They're really competitive with one another. So maybe.
Well, you don't know. I mean, maybe they have that one night they all got like drunken, each other, and the next day they have a hangover, and then they look in the other bed like, oh man.
While they were watching Hangover.
No. No, they were sleeping each other. Yo, come on.
Oh yes, I get what you mean though. Yeah, they decided to have a business partnership in this regard, decided on a decision that would be good. And there's going to be...
that night.
What happened?
Except for that night. That night, that was not good.
Yep. Which also leads me to the next things, some other brief mentions that may be good or bad, but I mostly don't do the VR unless I wanted to do do that on my gaming channel. I'd have to have the space for it and all, but moving on. I'm just gonna go down. Oh, okay. Now what I'm trying to say is that there are two other brief mentions that I wanted to bring up. Two articles that were made. We're not exactly going to go over them, but there's just some really nice finds that me and Chris found.
Weirdest G.I. Joes of all time.
Yes. Two articles. The weirdest G.I. Joes of all time, and the second one being 10 obscure Spider-Man characters. Now, there's going to be probably some disagreements from fans there, as we can pretty much tell, because websites aren't always correct. But it's going to be linked down below for everyone to go take a look at. And let us know your thoughts on it, and tell them as well, because, opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one, and you should always express yourself, well, necessarily in the professional sense, but in a comedian sense... It definitely can work. Just there are.
So what you're saying is that, and everybody's just she fart. Gotcha. Yeah.
The.
Yeah. Diarrhea of the mouth. There we go. Yeah.
I guess. Okay. Yes, which also leads me to another brief mention that you all probably haven't heard of or have. cdkeys.com, which of course has redeem codes and games for pretty much every platform, I believe. Well, all the next-gen ones. There's ones for PC as well, which of course if you buy them for Steam, they'll give you a redeem code. Same for PS3, Xbox 360. I think it's mostly the newer ones, PS4 and Xbox One, but there could be ones for 360 and PS3 as well. You know the drill. It's like Humble Bundle. You should check it out.
Humble Bundle?
HumbleBundle.com, yes. But that one, Humble Bundle, is only about PC stuff, but it's very good. I think you may like that, actually. Granted, you'll have to pay with a card. It's online, but you may find some good stuff.
Will I find porn there? I need to know this. If I cannot find My Little Pony porn, then I'm sorry. You killed it.
Well, Steam has friggin' movies, so you may find porn there, but I don't know, man. I don't know. But, yeah, that's basically the gist of all that, and, yeah, I guess that's pretty much it for the whole ordeal, unless there's anything else you want to discuss or whatnot.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. So, I mean, the only thing I say is, just, if you want to watch Shin Godzilla with the monster or what have you, just expect just 3 scenes of Godzilla with it, with a lot of political talking to it. But I would say I may have to watch it again, just that way I can have a better thought process with it. But other than that, and again, I will not spoil anything, but I gotta say, wow, to just one of the fight scenes, just wow.
It was deep.
It's well, they're trying to make this movie all deep. And apparently here, this one thing I found kind of funny. The movie is called Shin Godzilla.
Yeah.
Now, apparently Shin, it has 3 different meanings. It has true, new, and God. So I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. So pretty much, it's basically Godzilla.
Yep. Godzilla. So apparently Godzilla is actually Japan's version of Zeus. That'd be an interesting fight, Godzilla versus Zeus.
Now kind of think about it. You turn the fucking monster from a pretty much a storm of nature, a metaphor for like a nature of a storm into a god. I didn't know you could do that. Wow.
Me neither. And
But otherwise, yeah, like I would say, just go in with caution. If you're a Godzilla fan and you're expecting something, you're gonna get something entirely different. But if you go like just cold, then I think you have a good experience.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so would you recommend it to both fans and new ones? Or new people that are interested?
Well, I mean, I would say if you're a fan, don't here's the thing: don't watch or read anything about Godzilla for at least a month, and then watch Shin Godzilla, and just be like, huh.
Okay, so basically it's trying to introduce newcomers, saying, what if, realistically, if he attacked this place? If he had...
like I said, like that whole that whole metaphor of like you're getting a superhero movie, but there's about a drama with cancer. That's exactly what you're gonna get.
Ridiculous, but wow.
Yeah, they'll be fine. Sure.
So yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. And unfortunately, we're all out of time. So that's it for this recording. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you all in the next videos. Stay batty, my friends.
Stay batty?
Yeah, stay batty.
Why batty?
I don't know.